group lesson.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome. If you could all take out your cell phones, and we will begin shortly what we are going to be doing.
During this part of our lesson, Marcus has met the planning R5L4 requirement. By this, I mean that we utilized answering online polls through text, highlighting main points in an article, and verbally justifying evidence found to support the argument. So that was something we did in our planning. We thought ahead to ways that assessments could provide multiple forms of evidence to monitor students' abilities to construct meaning from, interpret, and or respond to complex text throughout the learning segment.
All right, so our first question, we're going to start off kind of easy, is we're going to ask you, what's your favorite thing to wear? How you're going to do this is you're going to text this number and your response to this number. So this is the number you will be texting it to, and this will start your message. And then whatever your favorite thing to wear is will be what you put next.
So this part that Marcus is leading now and teaching the class has to do with our unit, which actually is the subject of school uniform use, whether the students are for or against. We give them the option of answering a couple questions that have to do with what you like to wear and your specific choices for different attire. So this unit gives the opinions of school uniform use an appropriate audience. So this is our sophomore English group that we're teaching, and it's an example of personal, cultural, and community assets identified in the planning rubric 3 level 4. So we believe that we justified why learning tasks are appropriate using these examples and using prior academic learning that the students may have or preconceptions about uniform use.
All right, and we have our next poll. Would you be okay with someone else picking your clothes out for you?
I don't like doing laundry. That's because I look pretty.
All right, and our final poll. How do you feel about public schools requiring uniforms? This one you can text anything you want, maybe just like one sentence. It
has a character limit, so don't go on.
Does it have to be appropriate?
Yes, please.
Appropriate for a sophomore English class.
Okay, fair enough.
Is it, Anna, is it 550269?
Yeah.
Okay. There's just a clear right there.
Did everyone who wanted to send in a response send one in? Are we keen to move on? Is anyone still in the dark, like still answering the first question? No.
And that's
Okay.
like summary.
So, thank you for participating, class. Thank you for participating in our activity, getting your phones engaged. We want you to utilize what you've got. So our polls with opinions about dress code have to do with our assignment today. So we are going to proceed to do an activity as soon as Marcus figures out the Prezi.
It's not
But
working.
let me just explain what we will be doing as the class today. So in two groups, here in a second, which I'm probably just going to divvy through the middle. This class, side of the class, is going to be against uniforms, and this side of the class is going to be for uniforms. We provided some articles that we found from reliable sources with information on statistics, research, case studies on uniform use in public schools. So your groups have the choice of what you want to choose as your articles, whatever strategy you want to take on. You do have to have one person at the end after your investigation, and much highlighting, to be the spokesperson for your opinion. So we're going to have you collect your thoughts and submit Google Docs on whatever computer is closest to you to Marcus's email address, the bullet points you find in your investigation, and then your spokesperson is going to come up to us. We will be the superintendents, and they will present their argument or your argument from your group, and we will decide what the verdict is for our public school using uniforms.
So this upcoming element of our lesson is all about group work, which I felt really fell into instruction, rubric 6, level 5. And what we basically had the students do was work in 2 opposing groups to find evidence and select a spokesperson to represent their opinion to us, the teachers. So in this rubric, the level 5 requirements say the candidate demonstrates rapport with and respect for students. Candidate provides a challenging learning environment that provides opportunities to express varied perspectives and promotes mutual respect among students. And I feel like our activity definitely hit that on the head and really gave students opportunity to speak among themselves, maybe express opinions that they wouldn't necessarily be able to verbalize on their own. So that's how our first instruction rubric fell into place. We were also able to achieve the instruction rubric 9 level 5 requirement of our unit on English through the group activity. By this we mean that we did choose specifically credible articles for students to use for evidence when developing their arguments for school uniforms. In the rubric it says, candidate and students use strategically chosen textual references in ways that deepen student understanding of strategies to construct meaning from and interpret complex text. So, I mean, that's basically exactly what they're doing before finding ways to verbalize their argument. So that's how we completed that element of our instruction rubric.
Oh, yes. And what did you guys find? Actually, like, are you gonna be our spokesperson? No.
I was gonna say now might be a good time to pick your spokesperson. Maybe get them ready. You got about 2.5 minutes left.
It's easier to get kids ready. I read your mind.
Did you speak?
We're doing one spokesperson at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who wants?
But they can sort of help. We nominate Paige.
Let's have each spokesperson come toward the front. We are sitting in our fancy superintendent chairs, and we will. Thank you. Okay, and teams can support their spokesperson if they need some help. So feel free to help your spokesperson. However, yeah.
We'll begin with the affirmative side. So 4 school uniforms.
All right, so pretty much in the articles that we researched and read, there was a lot of things that regarded student safety as far as dress codes go. So it eliminates a lot of gang wear, such as baggy pants, baggy clothes. And a lot of the times it's interesting because children who dress like that think that that becomes part of their lifestyle because they're dressing like a thug or like they do bad things. And so there was some information about drugs coming into the school because they were wearing these baggy clothes where you could easily.
So what you're watching right now is the final step to our group activity. This is how we chose to assess our students with their verbal interpretations and conclusions, depending on which side they were on, for or against uniforms. This fell right into rubric 12, level 5 of assessment for us. We basically had the superintendent role play explaining that evaluating the demographic needs are important to consider when looking at feedback about school uniforms. We gave them advice after hearing both of their sides, and the students were basically able to focus on the feedback and the feedback from their fellow classmates in order to develop the best argument to show us, the superintendents, for the role play.
Here's the outfit that every single person wears, and it has the school logo on it, because sometimes that's what people think of when they think about school uniforms. So there's still a little bit of room for individuality there. We have on here that it showed that dress code implemented higher attendance and better grades. Again, touching on the less judgment on name brands, and safer school, and saves time overall.
Well, first of all, students oppose school uniforms by an outstanding majority. According to this article, 90% of students oppose wearing school uniforms.
He's staring at me and it's making me mad.
So it's already going to make it difficult to motivate and get your students to even want to come to school. Along with the first point she made, according to my article, there's no evidence that school uniforms actually increase violent attacks, or there is evidence that school uniforms increase violent attacks and lower academic achievement. It says here, and I quote, "School uniforms increase the average number of assaults by 14 per year in the most violent schools." Big issue that we had as a group was that school uniforms restrict freedom of expression and individuality in students attending a school in the United States of America, where it's one of the things we hold highest, I think, as a country and as a people. School uniforms promote conformity over individuality, and I think it's such a tumultuous time in like an adolescent's life where you're trying to figure out who you are. Why wouldn't you want them to be able to express their individuality just through the clothes that they wear? Also, there's the issue of students wanting to wear, say they have a specific religion that requires them to wear something different. How do you handle that? Or are they allowed to practice their religious beliefs by dressing a specific way? How would you go about handling those kinds of issues? Also, uniforms may have a detrimental effect on students' self-image, just adding to the hard time. I mean, high school is already hard enough. Why make it any harder?
Oh no!
Okay, we appreciate hearing from both sides of the argument. I think for our case, our school may need more discussion. So we will discuss as superintendents and get back to you next class with the winning argument, and maybe they'll get a prize. I don't know. But that was excellent evidence gathering and excellent points made. So we have just a little discussion to wrap up this activity and lesson. So,
Did you all enjoy this activity? Was it sort of fun, different than a majority of sort of lecture-based classes? What do you think? Did you guys enjoy this activity?
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I was about to say.
All right. And what did you learn? Did you learn anything new? Did you...
I learned that working together is awesome.
That's always good.
Yes.
Alrighty. And did any of you maybe change your opinion?
No.
Definitely not. I'm like listening to them, like, I agree. I agree.
Any like enormous testimony of their epiphany of how their opinion should have no one changed their mind.
Or maybe having any personal experience from their own school about school uniforms? Yeah. Would you like to share those real quick, or?
More uniforms.
Oh.
But I understand, like, I showed up to 7th grade, like, not knowing what was okay to wear to a public school after that. So I can see, like, the issue with not knowing who you are, not that part, but I mean, like, expressing yourself.
Okay.
Children regulars, yes. 7th grade, they don't like those.
We had a big issue in Powell High School when I was a sophomore and junior with girls being kicked out of class and like sent home because their bra straps were showing. And I was part of the group of people who thought that it was bullcrap that girls were getting kicked out of class because their bra strap was hanging out. And so we went to the dean of students and basically told him that if a male teacher can't teach because a girl's bra strap is hanging out and that's a distraction to them, because that's what the reason that they gave, was that the male teachers are distracted. Oh, okay, like you've never seen a bra strap before? Are you kidding me?
That is a turn
And
on.
so, Jamie's like, no. So anyways, so we went down to the dean of students and now their dress code is changed. So unless it's like imposing like your beliefs on someone else, or it's inappropriate as far as like encouraging drug or alcohol abuse, and like as long as you are covered and there are not parts of your body that are like being exposed, the dress code is pretty open. But it used to be ridiculous. There was like one day where 19 girls got sent home.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So yeah, it's definitely based on what the school atmosphere is like, definitely the socioeconomic status and a lot of other factors. We definitely appreciate everyone's opinions and contributions to this activity. In another universe, you would have shared your Google Docs and I would have reminded you, but since we're in this universe, have a great weekend. Because it was supposed to be on Friday. Alright, and can I get my highlighters back because dollars.
Dollars.
Oh,
Feel free to keep the articles. I mean, paper is not money.
Paper.
I'm sorry.
I got this. Let's be nice. Here.